Shalom, everybody. It is Tuesday, September the 1st, 2020. It's the 13th day of the 6th Hebrew month. I hope the sounds from the nearby freeway are not too loud. I wanted to film outside, but it's really rainy and drippy, and so the places I can film are very limited. So hopefully my voice is loud enough to overcome the highway sounds. I love the drippy, rainy, misty atmosphere as I film in a place like this, especially on a real rainy day. In any case, my name is Daniel Lee. I live here in beautiful Juneau, Alaska. My mission statement is very clear. I preach and teach the Hebrew Jewish roots of the Christian faith on my website, spiritandtorah.com. I exalt Yahshua, Jesus Christ of Nazareth. He is the only way, truth, and the life. I expose satanic pedophiles to investigative reporting on my YouTube channel. I've been doing this now for over 2 years. I provide satanic ritual abuse survivors a platform to speak out on. I protect the innocent children by virtue of these other things, and I lead a nightly Zoom room prayer meeting. Every single night we pray for President Trump, this nation, other subscribers, each other. We'll be happy to pray for you as well. Also, don't forget that this is my second video for the day, so if you've missed my first one, it's on my main channel. That'll be the very first link right below this video. And right below that is danielleedaily.com. Don't forget to click on that. You can submit your email address. You'll get a free e-newsletter to your email inbox every day with both links to my videos in case YouTube doesn't send notifications. And also, it's a great way for me to keep in touch with you, my subscribers, in case I ever get knocked off social media. All right, so I want to first of all start off with a story I covered a couple weeks ago. I talked about this horrible pedophile show called Cuties that Netflix is airing and expose all of that, sexualizing little girls, 11-year-old girls. And I talked about this a couple weeks ago. Well, the blowback, of course, has been fantastic. A lot of people have been flooding Netflix with complaints, but of course, Netflix has now ignored the backlash, and they're still planning to release Cuties. It says Netflix recently announced its upcoming release of the French film titled Cuties, also known by its French title Méjanas. Probably not pronouncing that right. The film centers around an 11-year-old Muslim girl who joins a twerking dance team while deceiving her family by lying, stealing, and sneaking around. Unbelievably, the film featured a child-filled cast and garners an NC-17 rating because of the sexual content. That's right, NC-17, even though the entire show is about little children. Unbelievable. Immediately, Netflix received blowback from mothers slamming Cuties for sexualizing little girls and showing children dressed provocatively dancing sexually. To appease the naysayers, Netflix pulled back and changed twerking to free-spirited. Sorry, Netflix, just because you redefine what is obviously the truth doesn't make it okay. However, Netflix chose to promote the film with a very sexualized movie poster featuring young girls wearing scantily clad dance uniforms while posing in sexually provocative positions. Please note, the image you see is an edited version because 1MM did not want to exploit the girls even more. After a backlash over the controversial poster, Netflix issued an empty apology and removed the inappropriate image from its marketing campaign. Besides making excuses, this is the only action Netflix has taken to right its wrong. Thus far, Netflix has not canceled the film and still plans to release it in the US on September the 9th. During a recent press conference, Netflix attempted to convince the movie's audience to overlook the film with positive eyesight and enjoy it. How could anyone but a pedophile enjoy this film? Absolutely right. This is a release that was sent out by 1MM, which is 1 million moms. And, you know, kudos to them. They're asking for you guys, all of us, to take action. Just like I asked people a couple weeks ago when I first covered this story to cancel your Netflix, and when you cancel it, let them know why. Well, here's the call to action that they have. We realize that less than half of 1 million mom supporters subscribe to Netflix. However, we still want to warn parents and encourage you to speak out against the forthcoming release of Cuties that glorifies the sexualization of children. Netflix knows exactly what it is doing. This is the same production company and streaming service that gave the world the 13 Reasons Why series, which glorified sex, violence, and suicide. Netflix now wants to promote its sickening agenda to exploit little girls. Netflix must know this kind of film has no socially redeeming value and will only serve the dark, depraved minds of pedophiles and child molesters. We must fight back. Apparently, Netflix has not gotten the message that this is unacceptable entertainment. When enough Christians get involved, changes happen. That's why we need you to take a stand and let Netflix know that using children to promote filth and depravity is too much. Our children and grandchildren are depending on us to defend their innocence. So I want people, now there's a petition here that you can sign, which I will go ahead and post a link to right below the video. This is from 1millionmoms.com if you want to just go to the website directly. But yeah, let's do this again. Let's just flood Netflix with our outrage over their sick pedophile ways. Now, here's some really outrageous news. This was published yesterday, August 30th, or 2 days ago, August 30th. LA County loses court battle with Grace Community Church, so the county sends an eviction notice to the church on Sunday. This is John MacArthur's church, that got that awesome victory from the courts when they were trying to shut his church down because of this fake pandemic. It says on August 12th, Los Angeles County filed charges prohibiting Grace Community Church from holding religious services, but a local judge decided in favor of Grace Community Church to allow the religious services if congregants wore face coverings and practiced social distancing. Pastor John MacArthur said at the time that the church was meeting indoors because it was their constitutional right. Yes, it is. County officials were outraged at the judge's decision this week, telling the LA Times, "It is deeply disappointing that the court decided not to grant the county's request, blah, 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 blah." So, what did they do? On Sunday, Los Angeles County sent a letter of eviction to Grace Community Church from a county-owned parking lot. So, not the building, but the parking lot that they've been using for decades. They informed the church they could no longer use the parking lot that they have used for over 4 decades. Los Angeles officials gave church officials 30 days to evacuate the premises. Just absolutely outrageous. Constitutional law attorney Jenna Ellis, special counsel to Thomas More Society, released this statement on the eviction notice. "This is government tyranny. Los Angeles County is retaliating against Grace Community Church for simply exercising their constitutionally protected right to hold church and challenging an unreasonable, unlawful health order. In America, we have a judicial system to ensure that the executive branch does not abuse its power, and Grace Community Church has every right to be heard without fear of reprisal. The Democrats' message to Americans is clear. If you do not bow to every whim of tyranny, the government will come after you. The church has peacefully held this lease for 45 years, and the only reason the county is attempting eviction is because John MacArthur stood up to their unconstitutional power grab. This is harassment, abusive, and unconscionable." Yeah, that's absolutely true. So I'm sure they're going to be going back to court on this. Now, something that's really neat is there's a video I'm going to post below this video. It's about 4 minutes long. John MacArthur gave a sermon just a couple of days ago where he talks about what I reported on yesterday about how only 6% of the reported cases of deaths from this COVID-19 are actually COVID-19 deaths. They don't have to do with, severe old age or serious underlying conditions. And he blows us out of the water and he says, we have been played. And he's had over 226,000 views on his YouTube. Of course, he delivered it to his large congregation down there in Southern California. So awesome that he's continuing to fight the good fight. More pastors need to be rising up like him. Now, this is interesting. I don't know how much of you guys have heard about the dog comms that the deep state passes back and forth. iPod, a while ago, he did a really good informational videos, several of them actually, about how they communicate by dog comms. Well, Adam Schiff has one that he posted just today on September 1st. This was something that Carly Q tweeted out. And Adam Schiff said, "Last week our family said goodbye to our beloved dog Mia after 13 and a half joyful years. These past few months we were lucky to get so much quality time with Mia at home. For those of you with furry friends in your family, I hope you can cherish the extra time with them." So people are speculating, saying Mia 13, is this a code for the deep state to activate MS-13? We know that, of course, they're a part of the foot soldiers of the deep state that have been used quite a bit. Or is it another code? We know that 13, they love the number 13 in their Illuminati numerological satanic ways. And is this something that they're indicating that they're going to do something on the 13th of September? Not sure, but I wanted to talk about this just so that we can have our prayer warriors pray against anything that the deep state is planning behind closed doors. Now, this is an article I wanted to read. It says, horrible things are happening right now before our eyes. The left is normalizing pedophilia and child sex trafficking. This dovetails again into the Netflix cuties and other things that they're doing. It took the Netflix cuties controversy to awaken us to a very serious issue. Buried underneath the left's favorite taglines, love is love and asylum is a human right, a much more sinister movement is growing, the normalization of pedophilia. In this episode of Wilkow, host Andrew Wilkow argued that the truth has been branded as a crazy conspiracy theory because it exposes the people who control the dominant narrative. Wilkow highlighted a New York Times article titled Pedophilia, a Disorder, Not a Crime, in which contributor Margot Kaplan argued that laws in this country are failing people who are living with pedophilia, a mental disorder defined as, quote, an intense and recurrent sexual interest in prepubescent children. So disgusting. And that these failures stem largely from two main misconceptions. Pedophilia is a status and not an act. In fact, research shows that about half of all child molesters are not sexually attracted to their victims, the New York Times sick writer wrote. A second misconception is that pedophilia is a choice. Oh, it's not a choice. We're born with it. This is the same old lies that they have promoted for decades. As Wilkow pointed out, Kaplan went on to argue that pedophiles should be protected under the Americans with Disabilities Act of 1990 and Section 504 of the Rehabilitation Act of 1973. Wilkow also reviewed an article from the Daily Caller where it says pedophiles believe they should be a part of the LGBT community. Pedophiles are rebranding themselves as MAPs, or minor attracted persons, Q has talked about this, in an effort to gain acceptance and be included in the LGBT community. According to Urban Dictionary, the blanket term MAP includes infantophiles, having sex with infants, pedophiles, prepubescent children, hebephiles, pubescent children, and ephobiles, post-pubescent children. These pedophiles seek to be a part of the LGBT plus community. Wilkow also discussed how leftist politicians and the mainstream media have tried to tie President Donald Trump to convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein while protecting big-name Democrats like former President Bill Clinton and former New Mexico Governor Bill Richardson. Ever since Epstein's death, the truth about the left's ties to child sex trafficking have started to unravel, and now it all makes sense. Why does Hollywood support the Democrats? Why do these sick, ultra-wealthy people donate to the Democrats? Why won't the Democrat-controlled mainstream media ever really report on sex trafficking, he asked. Of course, this has all been branded as a conspiracy theory. So he actually has a video where he goes over all this, and I'll post a link to this below this video as well. Also, from the National Pulse, something we can be praying about. Warning, Democrat data firm admits incredible Trump landslide will be flipped by mail-in votes emerging a week after Election Day. A top Democratic data analytics firm has confirmed National Pulse exclusive reporting, claiming it believes President Trump will win on election night, but in the following days, mail-in ballots will trickle in to reverse the victory in favor of Biden. The admission, divulged by the company's CEO, Josh Mendelson, in an interview with Axios, confirms predictions made by Brexit architect Nigel Farage and the National Pulse editor-in-chief Raheem Kassam on the outlet's newly launched TV show. It also follows Hillary Clinton telling Biden, don't concede, irrespective of the election outcome. A data analytics agency founded by Michael Bloomberg to support Democratic candidates per Axios contends that President Trump will likely win in an incredible victory with the Electoral College on election night. However, Mendelson continues, when every legitimate vote is tallied and we get to that final day, which will be Sunday after Election Day, it will in fact show that the Democrats won. So we need to be praying against this fraud that they're going to try to perpetrate through mail-in voting. I do believe that President Trump and the Patriots have a plan in store. In fact, I had reported about 3 or 4 months ago about how Homeland Security is taking control over monitoring both foreign election interference and our vote here in the United States. So I do think that they know how to keep this from happening, but nevertheless, I want us to be praying against any fraud through their mail-in voting schemes. Now, this is really good news. Join us as Roger Stones shares his testimony at Pastor Greg Locke's church. He actually talks about his recent repentance and salvation in Jesus, in Yahshua, turning back to the Messiah. you know, if you've seen the Netflix documentary called Roger Stone and about President Trump, you know that Roger Stone has had a very evil past. He and his wife were involved in swinging groups and all sorts of stuff. But like Apostle Paul, like Saul of Tarsus, it looks like he's had an awesome salvation experience just recently. And it's so awesome to see this. So I'm going to post a video. Unfortunately, the only video copy I can find of Roger Stone giving his testimony is on Facebook. So if you don't have Facebook, I don't think you'll be able to view it, but I'll post this link nevertheless, and hopefully I'll be able to eventually find a video copy of this on YouTube itself. But for now, I will post that right below the video. And also, a subscriber wanted me to champion his petition that he started. It's called "At What Daily Cost the Racial Genocide of Preborns," and it's a petition, of course, against abortion, against Planned Parenthood. His initial goal is just to get 100 people to sign. Bless his heart. So I went ahead and signed it, and I promised I would go ahead and tout this on my YouTube channel as well. So I'll post his petition below the video. This is what we can be doing. You don't have to have a big YouTube channel like mine. You can be doing little things like this, setting up a petition where, you know, he only has 3 signatures right now, but he's doing something to protect the children, and in his case, the unborn. So we can all be doing a little something to fight this war. Hallelujah. All right, if you like what I'm doing, if you appreciate what I'm doing, if you think I'm working hard and I deserve to be paid, this is my full-time career, which I love. I love doing what I do. So if you want to help me out, the easiest way to do so is through my PayPal. That's a link right below this video. That's the easiest way to send me a donation. I also have a Patreon. That's a link below the video as well. The way that works is you click on it, you can pledge any monthly amount you'd like, and then that amount is taken out of your bank account at the beginning of each month. If you're old school and you don't want to use the internet to send a donation, that's fine. I have a P.O. box that's located below the video as well, and you can send me a donation through good old-fashioned snail mail. Just remember, if you want a response to your snail mail, to enclose your email address in that letter. If you have a prayer request and you want our prayer team to pray for you, we'll be happy to do so. Just make sure you email me. Don't put your prayer request in the comments because I'm probably going to miss it. Email me your prayer request. You do have to unfold the description box and kind of just scroll down through the link, and you will eventually find my email address. Email me your prayer request. I'll get it to our prayer team, and we will pray for you. Rainy, drippy day here in beautiful Juneau, Alaska. But I love it. I love this weather. You have to be a special type of person to love all the rain and snow we get here. But I always love it, and always awed about all the different shades of green that Yah provides in this beautiful piece of his creation on earth. All right, guys. Have a wonderful rest of your Tuesday. Yah bless. Shalom. Shalom from beautiful Juneau, Alaska.